Hello folks, for this lesson I'll show you how to write an equation given a slope and a point, and how to write an equation given 2 points. Alright, let's take a look at the first concept. Let's say the slope is 3 and the given point is 2, 5. Okay, and I want to write an equation for a line that has a slope of 3 and passes through the point 2, 5. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is write out the slope-intercept formula, right? Which is y equals mx plus b. Alright, and the two things that we have to find is the slope, but in this case we already know the slope, it's 3. Alright, and the other thing that we have to find is the y-intercept, okay, which is the b. Alright, in order to do that, since we're given this 0.25, we'll just plug that back into the slope-intercept formula. Alright, so let's go ahead and replace the m, which is 3. Okay, and let's make a set of parentheses for the y, a set of parentheses for the x, and then plus the b. We don't know the b, right? We have to find the b using this point and this slope here. So now the next step is to use this 0.25, right? And let's label this as x and y. It's always x comma y, okay? So the 2 is the x, so that goes here, right? That's the x. And then the 5 is the y. You can actually try to pick a different color maybe so you can see it better. So let's make the y this color, right? And the 5 will go here, okay, and that's the y. Right, so now we can just do out the math, right? So this is 5, right, and then 3 times 2 is 6 plus the b, right? And let's carry out that one step equation here. So minus 6, right, and that comes out to -1 equals b, right? Because this 6 and this -6, they go to 0. Alright, so we found the b. B is -1, and we also know the slope. It was given to us, and it's 3. And we can go ahead and just copy this formula over. Y equals mx plus b, but we will replace the m and the b that we found. Right? So now keep the y the same. The m, right? That's just the 3. Keep the x the same. And then the b is the -1, so you can just make this, you can make it plus -1 or just make it as -1, right? And then this is the equation, right, the linear equation that represents the line with the slope of 3 and passes through the 0.25, and we're done, and we're happy. Let's take a look at another one. Let's say we have the m is a fraction, let's say it's 1/2, and the point that the line passes through is 3, 4, right, or 3, 4. And again, we will start off with the formula, right? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, let's replace the slope, which is 1/2, right? That's 1/2. The x and the y, let's just make parentheses for them, and the b we don't know, right? So this is the x and this is the y. So 3 goes here, and the 4 goes here. Okay, so let's multiply this out. We're going to get 3 times 1/2 is 3/2. Okay, and the 4 goes there, and then plus the b. Alright, so now b, well, to get b by itself, we have to minus 3/2 to both sides. Okay, minus 3/2 here. Alright. So let's do this out. 4 minus 3/2. Let's do that on the side. So I'm going to do this here on the side. Okay, so 4/1 minus 3/2. Alright, so I'm going to change this to 8/2, right? Because the LCD is 2, so I multiplied this by 2 and multiplied this by 2. So it's 8/2 minus 3/2, which is 5/2. Alright, So this one, this 3/2 and this negative 3/2, they go to 0. So you have b equals 5/2, right? So let me write that down up here, right? So this here, b is on the right hand side, right? And that's equal to 4 minus 3/2, but we did 4 minus 3/2, and that gives us 5/2. We'll put it right there. Alright, so we found our b, right, which is 5/2. We already know the slope, which is 1/2, and those are the only two things that we need to write out our equation. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so our equation, right, that represents the line with a slope of 1/2 and passes through the point 3,4 or 3,4 will be y equals 1/2 x, right, because that's the slope, 1/2, plus the 5/2. Okay, and we're done, right? So this is the line, or the equation that represents the line, right? And we're happy. Alright, let's take a look at the other concept when you have 2 points, right? Let's say you have 1,8 and 2,11, right? Or 2,11. Alright, so we have these 2 points, and I want to write an equation for the line that passes through those 2 points. The first step is to label the points. So let's be consistent. If I'm going to call this x1, this has to be y1. Make sure you don't mix them up. And this one here is going to be x2 and y2. Right? And we're going to have to write down the slope formula, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? So let's figure out what the slope is first. Alright, so the slope is y2 minus y1. Right? So 11 minus 8. Okay? Divided by x2, which is 2, and minus x1, which is 1. So 2 minus 1. Okay? So now this will equal, so 11 minus 8 will give us 3, and 2 minus 1 will give us 1. So our final answer is just 3. Alright, so the slope is 3. Alright, so we got half of it done. We found the slope. Now we have to find the y-intercept. Alright, in order to do that, just like we did with the last 2 problems, we'll write out the y equals mx formula. Alright, the slope-intercept formula. Right, so we found the slope to be 3. We're going to replace that for m. Okay, make parentheses for x, make parentheses for y, plus the b we don't know, but we can find that. So here we want to pick a point. You always want to pick the point that is easier to deal with. Alright, in this case, I'll go with the 1 and 8. I'll pick this one here. Right, so this is the chosen one. So the x is 1, that goes here, and the y is 8, so that goes here. So now I can just do out the math, right? So this is 8 equals 3 plus b, so that tells us that b is 5. Okay, so guess what? We found b. The y-intercept is 5. The slope was 3 right here. So that's enough information to write our equation. So I'm just going to copy the slope-intercept formula again. Y equals mx plus b. Right? And then rewrite it, replacing the m and the b. The m is 3. There it is. And then in this case, the b is 5. There it is. And we're done here. Right? And we're happy. Alright, so we made it to the last problem. Again, let's pick 2 points. Let's say we have 2, 0 and negative 4, 3. Alright, so we have these 2 points. Alright, the first step is to label the points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we have to find the slope. right? y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? So this is going to be, let's pick these two colors here, the y2 and the y1, 3 and 0 respectively, right? So it's going to be 3 minus 0, right? And then we have x2 is negative 4 and x1 is 2, so it's going to be negative 4 minus 2. Just be careful with the negative, watch out for them. And now let's do this out. We'll get 3, and that's negative 4 minus 2, so that's negative 6, which is just negative 1/2. Right, that reduces to just negative 1/2. Alright, so we found the slope. How do we get the b? Alright, well, in order to do that, we write out the slope-intercept formula. There it is. Alright, so I'm going to replace the slope with negative 1/2. Okay, the y I'm going to make parentheses for, and then the x, a set of parentheses for that. So I can put the x and the y after, and the b I don't know yet. Alright, in this case, it's pretty apparent that we're going to go with the 2, 0, right? Because it's easier to deal with. So I'm going to pick that one. Okay, so I'm going to pick that point to use. Now, it doesn't matter. You can also pick the negative 4, 3, but it's just harder to deal with, so we'll go with the easier one, 2, 0. So the x1 is 2, so that goes here. The y1 is 0, so that goes here. Right? So let's do out the math. We have 0 on this side equals negative 1/2 times 2, so that's just negative 1 plus b. Guess what? B has to be 1, right? You use plus 1 to both sides, then b is just 1. So now we have b is equal to 1. Hey, guess what? We found b, right? And we already know m is this, negative 1/2, right? That's the slope. Now that's enough information to write our equation for the line that passes through these 2 points that we started off with, right? So it's going to be y equals mx plus b, but I'm going to replace the m with negative 1/2, the x stays there, plus the 1, right? And we're done. Circle that as a final answer. Big smile for you, right? And we're done.